Today we're flying out the J2M2, one of the best 4.3s in the game. Insane climb rate, very good turn, low speed performance is off the charts. The only problem is the guns aren't the best. They're still workable, but not the best. It compresses a little bit and is not very fast, but anything you don't beat you can easily stalemate by simply climbing to altitude and just sitting above them, because this thing climbs very close to the P51H on the deck at 4.3. The footage you're seeing in the background is pretty old. I'm recording this on the 6th of January, so if you're wondering why everything looks old, that's why. I probably haven't been able to make a video in a good while. If it's 5 days or 7 days ago that I made one, that's probably what's going on. I had this one in the bank pre-recorded in case I couldn't make anything, so I could at least upload something this week. Hope you guys don't mind. Nothing really changed regarding the plane or the opponents, so I don't really have to explain anything differently in the case I would record it, well, whatever today is. Going head on with a J2M2, extremely strong plane as well at 4.3, a lot faster than me, but I outclimb it and I'm a lot better at lower speed, so I just want to be forcing these fights upwards. And there is a little trick that the J2M2 has, or the other J2Ms as well, but the J2M2 is the best at it: low speed performance. Most propeller planes, when they go below 250 to 200 kph, the engine power actually starts dropping a little bit, and this is because of the propeller. This plane doesn't really suffer from it. So if you force fights at like 200 kph, you can stall almost everything out. Do be careful with planes that don't really stall and planes that can keep pulling straight up for you, because they can still pull inside of your loop and shoot you down because they have the helicopter effect, as some of us call it. But other than that, anything that has a normal flight model, a normal stall speed, look at this. Look at the climb rate that I'm having right here. The J2M2 has insane power. And I'm just out verticaling him like it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. This guy is just, I'm just out climbing this guy in a loop. And because of this, it doesn't really matter how well I turn, because I just have the power to always sit above and behind him. It does turn very well. I can't really tell you how well it turns, because most of the turn rate in my experience comes from the engine power at lower speed. So it's very hard to compare it directly, but especially with the flaps down, the flaps increase the turn rate by a lot on this thing. It feels extremely good. And that's the J2M2 that I crit him, get on a 6, and all I have to do then is just hose him down. And we go head on with the LX7. And we do the exact same thing again. We go up. We don't want to force downward spirals or fights like that, because the faster you go, the more you lock up, you compress, and the more of the advantage the LX7 gets. So I just want to be going upwards. You have pretty bad retention in these verticals, whereas that's my strength. So by going up like that, I just get on the 6 very quickly, as you can tell, about 2 loops in, and I'm already dead on the 6. I'm going to be out climbing him and out turning him pretty handily here. He's trying to go vertical even more. You don't want to go vertical with a J2M2, unless of course the situation asks for it. But 9 out of 10 times it won't be a very good idea. And then we dive to the deck, we swipe up 2 people, and that's going to be game, but that's extremely boring. So instead I'm going to be showing you a little stall kill. 109F going for me, and by going a little bit sideways he has to travel a lot more distance to get near me. He's sacrificing all the speed to get the shot. I pulled away from him, he didn't get in gun range, and now he's basically hanging from the air. And there's going to be a lot of your kills are going to be looking like this. People that think they can pitch up for you at the start of a match, if they do, they die. That's just kind of how it is. If he dove away right here, I probably wouldn't have chased him down, because it would be a waste of all my altitude. And this plane, if you're on the deck versus multiple opponents, it's actually not very good. And this is because, well, yes, it's an extremely good plane. Versus multiple opponents, if they don't all stick on you, you're kind of just a sitting duck. You can't extend, you can't reset fights, you're kind of forced to just keep fighting until one of them messes up. So I don't like being below a lot of people. 1v1 if you're on energy disadvantage, not really a problem, because in the long run you will probably regain it anyway. Stall out the G55, go horizontal a little bit to pull away from the LA7 there. I'm not sure why he pitches up at the top of my loop. If he had just kind of kept his speed and then pitched up into me as I was diving back on the G55, he could have easily, well, made me break off the attack. Instead, he stalls himself out below me, and now I'm on the 6 of the G55 as well. And while the J2M isn't very fast, the G55 isn't very fast either, and I will definitely win a dogfight, especially if I stick on the 6 and then he neck G's a little bit and his wings fall off. A few battles later, a different team this time, another LA7, he's going to be pitching up for me. So I just kind of go horizontal to not waste too much energy, and then I go back down, pitch up into him, and now I'm going to be forcing this fight strictly vertical in order to bleed all of his speed. And you can see that I'm doing very aggressive turns here. I'm trying to get on his 6 as fast as I can, and now we're just going to be slowly pitching up into him, dodge his guns right there, bait him into this shot, and now we go straight up. He's stalling out, He doesn't get the shot, and now we are just dead on his 6. And he's not fast enough to get away from me at this point. He doesn't have the altitude to dive away from me, and anywhere he goes I will be sticking directly on his 6. He's trying to dive out now. Took the wrong escape path to begin with, but it doesn't really matter because he wouldn't be able to get away from me regardless. He's basically stalled out, and we just gun him out of the air. Another LA7. Started the game, I dove on a P47 and didn't really see me. That's why my ammo was a little bit lower, but he was basically stalled out as I said, so it wasn't very interesting. Go ahead on with another LA7. Not a strict vertical fight. And you can tell that I'm kind of trying to pull behind him here, drop the landing flaps, or the takeoff flaps. Try to stick on a 6, and if he keep up these loops I will win in the long run. It doesn't really matter anymore. All he can do right now is wait for me to pass and then dive out, but he waited too long and now I'm directly on a 6 again. And that 109 is going to be a problem, as well as that one in front of me. So I need to kill this guy right here, right now. If I don't kill him right here I have to break off and I have to engage the 109. That's why I'm spraying so much, that's why I set him on fire. That's why, luckily I set him on fire. And now we're going to be on the defensive. Try to not get hit by the G2. Luckily he doesn't have gun pods. But I'm trying to stay on his wingtip. Look, pay very close attention to where I position my plane here. I'm trying to stay above and on the side of him, so he has to go 2 dimensions to get to me. Drop my throttle a little bit. Dropping the combat flaps. Raise the combat flaps again. Start whapping. Chase this guy. Try to stick on the 6. I want this guy to fly away. I know there's another guy diving on me. That's the other 109 that was on me just a bit earlier. Luckily he's diving away. Recheck if he is actually diving away, because sometimes people fake it. And now I need to make sure that this 109 doesn't actually kill me. He has a lot of energy on me. And a lot of positioning. I can't really tell where he is because of the clouds. There he goes again. He disappears. Maybe I could have been able to pitch up after him. I'm not going to risk it, considering I don't know how fast he is. It's very hard to judge in these conditions, especially with the flight paths he takes. Now I can see his contrail somewhat through the clouds, and I'm going to be diving out. Don't whap for a little bit to cool that engine. Start pulling into him, start whapping again, pull up over him. And again, try to stay above him and on his wingtip. He's going to be pitching up here. I pull the landing flap or the combat flaps back in, and that's because, well, they create drag. I got the shot already, and I need to conserve my energy. I'm just shooting the 7.7s, maybe scare him, maybe force him into a turn that he doesn't want to take. He doesn't, he takes it pretty slowly, which is what you're supposed to do against this plane. And I'm just gonna be kind of getting my speed back up. I don't want to follow him. I might be able to, but I don't want to risk the spot disappearing as I start shooting. I don't know where he is, I miss everything, and then I die. Instead, I can just wait 1 or 2 more passes and we're gonna have the same amount of energy. That's just how this plane works. The J2M is completely unfair, especially the lower you go. And the 109 doesn't really have the capabilities, especially a G2, to shoot this thing down in a very fair matchup. The F4 is a lot closer. It's not very fast still, but it comes a lot closer than the G2 does. And there he comes again. I see the contrail. I'm trying to keep my speed up a little bit. I know that his top speed is around 545. And I could tell that he wasn't really gaining much on me, despite me being in an energy disadvantage. So right now we're basically equalized, and I know that I'm a lot better at lower speed. So after he pitches up, I will do the exact same thing. I will pull in onto a 6. And yeah, the G2 can't really do a lot once this thing gets an equal energy state, other than simply run away. I outclimb him, I outturn him. He has slightly better guns, but even on the deck I just outrun him. So on this altitude he can't really do a lot. That's the 109 that broke off earlier. He's very low and slow. Just shoot him out of the air like this. Just for completionist sake. Not much happened in that game, other than those 3 guys. And here's another G2 in the clouds. He's gonna be dead on my 6. Drop the throttle a little bit. I don't have to drop it completely because of the position we are in. I'm just gonna be pulling into him. And if you're not careful, you're just going to die. It's just how it is. The J2M is not a plane you want to mess with. Here comes Mr. Number 2. Not sure what it is right now. It looks like a 109 of some kind. Green tracer with a white tracer. Single up 20mm. At least it sounded like that. He's getting on my 6. And we do the exact same thing as we did to all the other 109s. We just get slowly on their 6. And then he starts diving away. Because he knows at this position there's nothing he can do. I get a hit in with the 7.7s. I try to not spray the 20mm as much. Because, well, it's just simply a waste of ammo. He dives out. and that's all I'm going to be doing to him. He just runs away from me, and I have to hold my energy on my altitude, because otherwise I'm just going to be on the deck alone without any speed to actually get away from it. And here we go, last fight of the day against the 190. I'm pretty damaged by AA, but completely flyable still. I have an oil leak, so I want to finish this as quickly as I can. So I dodge his guns on the first pass, and then I pull into his line, and I do this because it makes him think he can get the shot here. And if he thinks he can get the shot here, and he definitely does looking at this trajectory, then he's essentially dead. I pulled him into a stall, I pulled him into a vertical in one of the worst 190s in the game, and at this point I'm just dead on the 6. And there is not much he can do right here, other than try to run away to his airfield, which is exactly what he's going to try to do. The thing is, he's not very fast. I'm 0.2 on a 6, and at this point it's basically just cleaning him up. So I'm going to be wrapping up the video. That's all I have for you today. Hope it was helpful, hope you enjoyed it. Not sure when I will be back, but I will be back eventually, I guess. Have a nice whatever day it is today, and see you all very soon again, I think.